Alright everyone, YouTube still just doesn't quite get it. I don't understand how so many, arguably genius level people, which is, those are the people that run YouTube, they've got to be intelligent if they want that kind of job. I don't understand how they can be so generally out of touch with the actual problems on YouTube. Here we've got a case of something called EduBirdie, I guess. It's like a Ukrainian company, and you can pay them like whatever per page to write essays or something. That's, I guess, the basic concept of it. Now, they had been sponsoring YouTubers for some time, I believe for several years. In violation, by the way, admittedly so, of the terms of service. YouTube doesn't allow academic aid groups to actually have that kind of promotion on YouTube. I'm not sure exactly why, but, they just don't. Here's the problem. Large numbers of sometimes very popular creators had significant numbers of promotions for them across their videos. At the end of the video, it'd be like, oh yeah, and by the way, this video is sponsored by, or, you should check out this service. Yes, I'm a paid spokesperson or something. You have a large number of large creators with large audiences who have had those references up sometimes for years. All of a sudden they're getting emails saying they'll be removed, and some of these people are getting dozens or more videos taken down. Now, I do not believe they've been terminated. They just had the videos taken, they're blocked. YouTube does something sometimes where it just sets the video to private over some forms of complaints. It's weird because if you violate the rules of YouTube, there are all sorts of different things that might happen. It's not cut and dry like it used to be. It used to be in the early wave, you got the video removed, no appeal, you're fucked. There was nothing you could do about it. Then they moved on to, well, we'll just put some of them in like a semi-restricted, like an 18-plus state. So you have to sign in to watch them, and you have to be above 18. And then that worked really well. That was basically the perfect solution. Then now we have this discretion though on YouTube where they might just take the video and put it into private, basically remove certain sponsored content or some tag or I don't know. Metadata spam, I believe they do that, which they shouldn't. They should just, if someone's spamming tags that have nothing to do with the video, then that should get them banned off YouTube quicker than offensive content. And then you got limited state. Here's the problem though. YouTube is making the same mistake with this that they're making with a million other things on the site lately. That is, they're listening to some group of craptivists, an NGO, an ad firm, whatever it happens to be, some corporate or lobbyist style group or a group of people who are easily offended. And these people are blowing every minor problem on YouTube out of proportion to the point where they're literally making a mountain out of a molehill. Here's the problem. Yes, this violated the TOS, but it was there for years and nobody said anything about it. Why then does YouTube even at that point fucking care? It would be easier just to change the TOS and say, we don't care about academic aid programs anymore. We're making an exception. Or these creators, we're going to give them leeway, or who cares? We'll just get rid of that part of their videos ourselves. They don't have to do anything, and, the rest is history. Everything's fine. Well, it doesn't make any sense. YouTube never had a problem with it before. It's sort of like there's a lot of other content. It's like the offensive content on YouTube. A lot of it's been there for a very long time. I saw videos by a band, for instance, an example that matters to me. I like a black metal band called Grand Belial's Key. Now, they are edgy and supposedly anti-Semitic, although it's really just anti-religious in general. They make jokes about many religions. Therefore, a lot of their music has been put into limited state. The videos are over half a decade old. I was listening to them on earlier accounts that I was using. I was already listening to Grand Belial's Key. And it's like somebody had to hunt this material down to put it in limited state. Let's put it that way, because it's not exactly the most popular band in the most popular fucking genre. Somebody went headhunting after it in order to get it put in a limited state. That's the problem. By the way, there's a site called Censored List where you can see all the limited state videos as they come online. They're, I guess, amalgamating them. I'm not sure what process, whether it's automatic or manually submitted. It's got a lot of stuff there, and trust me, it's not all the kind of stuff you would think of as being deserving of limited state. I'm not seeing any recruitment videos for Al-Qaeda on there, let's just put it that way. I'm seeing a lot of 30s and 40s era music mainly, and some harmful, offensive stuff, aka someone has the wrong opinion about some fucking political issue. YouTube's problem is fundamentally the same, though, and this is just part of the same social panic we're in. YouTube is just one very small component of the moral panic that we're experiencing at the dying end of this paradigm that we're currently in as it flips over. Trump is part of that, YouTube's part of that, the alt-right is part of that. All of these things just tie into the same general lexicon of thought. Here's the thing. People who are offended look at YouTube and they see one instance of an opinion they don't like that could be construed as racist or sexist or something. And so they say, well, YouTube is full of racists and sexists. And they're fed, the fire is fed by a bunch of dishonest for-profit corporate media sites like BuzzFeed that do the same thing. So when BuzzFeed rips off the Wall Street Journal's hit piece on several YouTubers, scrubs BP Earthwatch out of it entirely to reframe exactly what the problem is supposedly, according to them, retaining myself and Alex Jones only, which was hilarious, then it was two. Yeah. When they do this, it just feeds the flames of people who, ultimately, there's nothing really to be outraged about on YouTube. YouTube has a stable equilibrium, or it did before all of these new changes. It was already fine. The harassment and cyberbullying are not actually great problems on YouTube. Like, I say this as someone who I have a substantial audience. You know that. You're presumably part of it. Hundreds of thousands of subscribers, many more followers on other platforms too. I do get occasional hate mail. I do get the occasional comment telling me to go fuck myself. But it's not particularly prevalent. You think that cyberbullying is bad on YouTube now? My goodness, you definitely weren't there before like 2011, 2012. It was 10,000 times worse. I had a tiny fraction of the audience I have now, and yet I got infinitely more hate comments back then. Infinitely more. And by the way, I don't want to ban people for making those comments. I don't care. It's called being an adult. They should just say YouTube is 18 plus now. We're not responsible if your kid stumbles across something that's teaching them how to rework a gun, or it's teaching them how to mix chemicals, or it's teaching them about drugs or sex or something. It's your fucking responsibility. You, the parents. Block it on school networks and leave it at that. Not our problem. YouTube was built by a bunch of people posting edgy and sometimes illegal content. That's what built the platform, and the people running YouTube now don't fundamentally seem to fucking get it. They just don't understand that. They're trying to rebrand and make YouTube safe. Literally, they're saying, oh, we're going to make it safer for advertisers. The advertisers, you're never going to be able to pull a profit with just advertisers. Don't you realize that? The fundamental form of you would be better off. Google has the resources, so if it wanted to, it could just invest in crypto and blockchain and decentralize YouTube, siphon money out of transactions, pull a profit, lower its costs, and say fuck the advertisers. They could literally stick their middle finger up in the face of every other corporation on earth, and nobody would ever be able to challenge YouTube. It would be impossible. There'd be no way to make it more efficient. There'd be no way that anyone could possibly stand up to them. There'd be no alt-tech alternative either at that point, because they would have adopted the same strategies, which lower the bottom line and make everything more efficient. They wouldn't have to censor anything. They could flaunt everything. In the face of Europe, they could say, oh, we'll just introduce technology that allows people to use YouTube, whether or not you want to block YouTube. Fuck you. Go ahead and try to make your own heavily censored network and see what happens. That's what I wish one of these firms would do. I wish that just one big tech firm had the balls to stand up to these idiots over in Western European governments that want to suppress and censor everything and think that their laws should apply outside of their borders. Or to ad firms that brand themselves as being very, very worried about people's safety. We're worried if there's a pop video on YouTube or something offensive. You're not worried about that. You employ slave labor. You employ slave labor. You get diamonds from blood diamond mines, and you have suicide nets in your Chinese offshore factories, and you bilk your own workers and lack worker protection half the time. And if one of your workers gets injured, you treat them like shit, run them through hoops for years and years to get 2 cents out of you. Don't fucking try to tell people that you're moral actors. The ad firms have nothing to do with morality. They're not supposed to be moral. They're supposed to be cutthroat. No, business firms are supposed to stab people in the back and grind them down and destroy competitors. So too, by the way, should YouTube. Then how are they going to do that? They're not advancing the technology behind YouTube. Instead, they're trying to modernize, so-called, the platform in the moral sense, in the sense of it being a platform for human communication. That's a terrible idea. You're saying, well, there are certain large swaths of people who, because of their social and political views, who, because of who wants to sponsor them, because of where they get their money from, because of what they believe, they're no longer welcome on this platform. You know, they're not going to stop talking. They're just going to find another platform. And then some competitor will rise up and eventually supplant you. The problem is YouTube is totally decentralized in terms of the talent. So it should be decentralized in terms of the application of terms of service. Nobody cares about EduBirdie as a company. Oh, this poor company, they lost their sponsorship ads on YouTube. Boo-hoo. Now, fuck them. They're for profit too. Who cares? But the creators getting screwed over because large proportions of their videos had a sponsorship there. They get a few days warning and they're like, yeah, what the hell's going on? This video's been up for 2 years. And they get abused. And it's reverberating across the platform. Here's the problem. I never would have known that this company existed. If YouTube's goal is to suppress these companies from getting people to cheat on their essays or whatever, no, you've just done the opposite. Now you've given them free advertisement across the entire friggin' platform. People like me who don't care about that and don't care about that particular part of the TOS care when other creators are dismayed because their videos are getting taken down. I don't even know any of these creators. I don't even really, their content, mostly I probably would never watch it, but I'm still going to defend them. Hopefully they'd do the same if I were getting screwed over. Some of them will, some of them won't. Just the way that things are on YouTube, that's perfectly fine too. But YouTube really needs to start thinking about reversing course and just saying, fuck you to the censors. We can make money in other ways. It's easy. It wouldn't be hard. You're YouTube. You're owned by Google, the #1 tech firm. Yeah, it's self-explanatory. Who the hell's going to compete with you? What, the advertisers are going to prop up some competitor? Where are they going to go? You know what YouTube's competitors are? A bunch of older video sites that are boring and already stagnant and dead, like a Dailymotion or a Vimeo, and upstarts that they censor less than you do. Advertisers aren't going to go to BitChute or Steemit or something that they can't control. They're not going to go there. They're going to stay with YouTube if they know what's good for them. They're going to actually be able to make a return, unlike on Facebook. What else are they going to do? They won't advertise anywhere. Okay, they'll make a YouTube video maybe. Maybe they'll make a channel. Why don't you tell GM in a press release? If you're so fucking concerned, why don't you make a YouTube channel better on YouTube and you can do free ads there? We don't care. Go ahead. Upload as many fucking videos as you want pushing your brand. By the way, if you're such a moral actor, what about all these safety concerns in some of your vehicles? What about your ads running on CNN during a police chase? What about that? Yeah, and it's in a GM vehicle probably. That'd be the funny part. That's about all. Peace out.